Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. If you're watching this live or if you're watching the replay, either way, all good. So the interesting thing is that this is my first time going live, so please bear with me. I hope that you can hear me. I think it should be good. Yep, my mic's working. Awesome. Okay, so we're live. All right. So it is December 1st, 2023. We are coming to the conclusion of a really, really powerful year that has helped us grow spiritually, energetically, and really pushed us up against a lot of narratives and beliefs that we've had to look at newly. Like, oh, I thought I believed that. Do I still believe it? Or am I having to look at it newly because now life is giving me a whole new opportunity to grow? So it's like this culmination energy of that year. And the interesting thing about December is I tuned in and I got some notes, you guys. I got some things that I really, really, really want to share with you today that I think are going to be valuable for you. But the big picture and the interesting thing about December is that typically I've had years where December doesn't quite feel like a conclusion. Like it feels like there's still so much shit going on that it's like, well, when is this going to wrap up? Or how's this going to end? Or, you kind of don't know if the end is in sight, whether it's a project, a challenge, something that's going on. But this December, it really feels like this energy of conclusion, this energy of, okay, things are wrapping up. And so that could be a project for you. That could be maybe a cycle of maybe like for your business, a cycle, a big challenge, something that's kind of going on that's been dragging its feet for a while that you're like, I'm done with this. And energetically, but also physically, the being done with it is going to show up more clearly next year. Because here's the interesting thing about years. So we all believe or are taught to believe that the year goes from January to January, right? And that's the Gregorian calendar. But how the energy actually works is on the lunar cycle. So while this December might be, the last month technically in the 2023 year, energetically the year still continues all the way up until about like January 20th when we transition into the Chinese New Year, which actually represents the energetic shift. So, you might be feeling that kind of energy right now that it's the completion, but it feels like it's going to kind of come into January. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is like December you're going to start to feel the conclusion of certain things and certain things ending for the best. And then in January you'll probably see the manifestation of that ending. Like it actually ends. Maybe now in December you make a choice so you have a clear intention and clear outcome, and January is when it shows up. So it's kind of one of the bigger energies. Let me see what other kind of notes or questions. Okay, so before I dive fully into this, and I keep saying that, I guess because I'm live, it's kind of interesting. Like it feels like I'm on a call with somebody versus just recording a video. So there's this free energy, free spirit that you get to be with me on. I think I really like these. I'm gonna keep doing them. So, anyways, so what's really interesting is that I have this oracle book called Daily Oracle, and you can flip through, ask a question, get the energy, and this is what it said today. Don't be fooled. This isn't where it ends. You can't see that, but it says, don't be fooled. This isn't where it ends, which means that even though it's the end of something, it's not actually where it ends. It's not where your journey ends. There's so much more. An example comes to mind. So the other day I was speaking with somebody on Instagram and they were sharing some challenges about how they're in school and university and they're studying in some medical field, and they're just like, I don't want to do this anymore, but it feels really hard to like let it go. And over the last couple days, she ended up just like quitting and letting it go and saying, "No, I'm done. Like, no, thank you." But it kind of feels like it's the end because she's known herself in this capacity for so long. But realistically, it's not the end because it's only the beginning of the new version of herself. So that's the energy of this month. It's that you're going to let go consciously or unconsciously, like the energy is going to be moving through you. You're going to let go of so much crap and so much stuff that doesn't align with you anymore. And like maybe you've wanted to let it go for a while, but you're just going to finally just be like, you know what? This isn't for me. Like, I'm complete with this experience. You're going to declare it. And then over the course of next year, it's going to manifest into you showing up for the fullest version of yourself, you being wholeheartedly centered and focused on your mission and on your path. So next year, it's important to know about the energy of what we're stepping into. And I know this video is about December, but I want to share like how is this going to lead into what's to come, right? So next year, 2024, numerologically, 2 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. And 8 is the number of money. Yay, lots of money. It's also the number of karma, and 8 is the number of the healer. So many of you, especially those that I know that I'm here to serve, are doing things right now and living life in a certain way where you think that you have to. You should do this because that's what you were taught. But you're going to be asked to step away and into the path of your truest, most authentic self, which often looks like a healer on many capacities, whether it's you transition careers altogether or you decide to like take up a new healing modality or a practice, or you crack open that vault that you have of all your tarot cards and all of the things that you thought were scary and woo woo and spiritual. And you just go full on into embracing that part of yourself that you feel so deeply connected to that maybe you haven't given space in a long time. So that's the energy of next year. And so I do want to just share briefly that in January, right before we enter the dragon year, which is about January 20th to February-ish, on January 7th, my husband and I are going to be hosting a workshop all about how to set up the year powerfully. It's going to be free. We're going to share the link with you over the next couple days or weeks. We're still working on the details, but you want to tap into that because I promise you, this is nothing like you've seen before. There's so many different things that we've researched over the last several years. We put stuff together to be able to serve you and support you so that during this transition on planet Earth, when it feels like you have no fucking idea which direction to go, you can count on the numbers, you can count on the moon, you can count on the energy and astrology to bring it all together and give you at least some sort of tangible, okay, this is the direction I want to go in. So if that resonates, stay tuned. And honestly, that's a lot of the stuff that I talk about. Combining like this spiritual world with the physical. How do we live as spiritual beings in this three-dimensional world while it's transitioning, right? So December is going to be this call to action to release a lot of the things that are stopping you from living into your full potential. Maybe there's a conversation with God in December that you need to have to clear some baggage and some healing. And maybe that word God really triggers you. And in the month of December, when most people are celebrating, the holidays and Jesus and all that stuff, it's like maybe there's an opportunity for healing and for releasing a lot of the shame and trauma that may have come from old patterns of religious indoctrinations, or something that really just didn't line up and serve you. And so you get to newly set an intention to reconnect, recreate your relationship with the universe, with the divine, with the God and the creator within, right? So, yeah. So I still have more. That was all just kind of like even off script. So let's keep going. So the phrase the beginning of the end is what showed up when I was tuning into December. So the beginning of the end. Like I said, the beginning of the end of the thing that you thought you were meant to do, but you're really not because you were kind of doing it as a justification. So that's the quest, the internal quest for December. Um, just like keep going. Even though it feels like you've let go of the thing in your heart, there's still going to be external things and challenges and people that are going to show up that are going to rebuttal your choices, or they're going to question your shift, because that's going to happen. If the world knows us as one way, but then all of a sudden we shift directions and we start acting newly in alignment with our truth, and people haven't seen that before, they're going to be like, what are you doing? Who do you think you are? You said you were this. And a lot of the world has a challenge with change. And especially when you change, people try to hold on to past versions of you. So know that it is the beginning of the end, but the end, so to speak, is not extremely, extremely clear right in your face, and it's not like the cutoff point. It's just the beginning. So there's still a lot more to unravel, a lot more to unwrap, a lot of emotions are gonna be coming to the surface, and that's why December is gonna be such a month of, like, powerful heart healing, because think of it this way: if you have been doing a lot of things, acting in a certain way, being inauthentic, so to speak, and not that it's a bad thing to be inauthentic, it's just if you don't know that you're not being true to yourself and you're kind of acting out in life and doing all these things you think you should, and then one day you realize, oh my God, I'm not living life for me, it's not a bad realization. It's an incredible realization, but it's painful. So the thing is like when you recognize that you've been being inauthentic, your heart chakra, your heart center is activated, and there's like a lot of pain and suffering and internal wisdom. So it's like the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it resides in here. And if you've been blocking this center, this vortex, this gate for a long time, then a lot of stuff is going to come up, right? Naturally. It's like, yeah, it's like if you've shoved stuff down in your closet, so to speak, and you've thrown all this dirty laundry in there, and then you're wondering why you don't have clean clothes. Well, you got to go clean your closet out, right? Go do some laundry, fold the clothes, organize, clean shop. So it's kind of the same way I look at like heart cleansing is we have been accustomed to pretending and being inauthentic about our feelings, about our emotions, about who we think we are and what we think we should be doing to please other people. But meanwhile, we've been neglecting the very person that matters the most. Us, this human right here. Me in this case, but you pointing to yourself in your case. So it's extremely important to recognize that as a result of stepping in to releasing something that is not aligned with you, a lot of challenging emotions will come up. It's not a matter of if, they will come up. There'll be days when you doubt, there'll be days when you're happy. You're going to kind of feel like a little bit like crazy this month in terms of emotionally. But just know that that's the process, right? So if you know the process, then you're able to better handle it as opposed to not knowing, and then you're like, "Am I going fucking crazy? Like, what's wrong with me?" So you're not going crazy, number 1, super important, and on top of that, you're actually healing, and you're getting better, and you're becoming more of yourself, so it's, like, really, really exciting. It's gonna be worth it at the end, but initially, it's gonna feel a little bit disruptive because it's new, right? And the world of emotions and understanding your emotions is often pushed down because of the fact that it's scary, that emotions feel challenging, emotions feel scary, and we're not taught how to handle them. And so that's why this channel exists, is to understand that your heart is an incredibly powerful tool for your authentic life and to learn to navigate the challenges that show up when you do connect your heart. So this month, really recognize that emotions are going to show up, but they are showing you the way. Okay? They are showing you the way. What that means is when they show up, they're asking you to check in. They're asking you to go inwards. It's like a little nudge at the door. You've been kind of like blocking it out for so long that now it's like now that you can hear the knocking on the door, have the courage to open the door and say, "Okay, sadness. What do you want to say? Oh, you want to cry right now? All right, let's cry, let's purge. Oh, you feel angry right now? You feel betrayed, you feel abandoned? Okay, let's process that, right? And so that is really, really important to understand. Now, on the other hand, what's really interesting about December is that while you're going to be living in your truth and also making choices for you and navigating these emotions, there's also a lot of family gatherings. There's also a lot of time to be social with people and mingle and co create. So that's kind of exciting. But at the same time, it can be like, challenging when all you wanna do is just sit at home and feel sad or be with the emotions. But what I would invite you to do is to just, like, allow yourself the time to feel the emotion, but don't let it overtake you, right? And that's a learning. It's like, how can we allow space for this energy, but not let it take over our entire existence or our entire life? So something that I'll do is rather than let it bottle up, I will talk with my husband or I'll talk to my coach or I will just sit and I'll journal and I'll cry, you guys, like just for like 10 or 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden, something that maybe stuck in my body for days is gone within 20 minutes because I've given it the space to process. And then later that evening, I can go for a coffee. I can go hang out with my friends. I can do what I need to do to show up in the world while still giving myself the time and the space. So that's really important too this month is allowing yourself to feel, but not stuffing it down anymore. Give yourself the space to feel it. If that looks like starting your mornings earlier, or sorry, later, not earlier, starting your mornings later, do that. Start a little bit later. Give yourself an extra hour if you can. Or maybe that looks like when you go home in the evening, not planning so many things, finding that balance of I need time for me right now, but I also wanna be with people because it really helps the process. So think about that while I have a sip of my tea. So, yes, so being with people, understanding your emotions, giving yourself space, piece of cake. No, I'm kidding. It's a work in progress for sure. Okay, so the next thing is that with all of that, think about it this way. You are one individual, one human being that is opening up to their truth, realizing a whole lot of new things, making choices in your highest good, feeling a lot of emotions, unlocking your heart. Now, imagine that the rest of the world is also doing that. Like everyone on planet Earth, most people that are awake and conscious are going through that process. So everyone's going to have their own way to deal with it, right? And if you're here, then you clearly want to be conscious. You want to learn how to navigate this in a thoughtful and mindful way. But a lot of people aren't going to know what hit them. They're going to just be like, what is going on with me right now? And so they're going to want to dump and spew. So you want to have compassion for others at the same time. And you want to grant people being. This is a concept that I learned early on. I wasn't picking my nose, just for the record. There's a little itch. Um, so you wanna grant people being. Yeah, grant me being. Allow me to be me, yo. This is what you get when I'm live. So what was I saying? Yes, grant people being. What that means is allow them to be. Allow them to be free. Allow them to be them. Because when you do that, you all of a sudden take away all of these heavy responsibilities of weight that you put on yourself for how you have to act or react to them. And then you just kind of say, "Oh, well, that's just my dad. I'm going to let him be. That's just my uncle. Okay, you know what? That's just that dude, that woman, whatever. I'm going to let her be. If it's your boss, if it's your mom, someone that is irritating you or challenging you, okay, you know what? Grant them being. Allow them to be themselves and give them the space, but also hold your sacred space as, honoring you. Don't just spew your shit onto them. So this give and take balance. And they don't need to know that you're granting them being. You don't have to go up to them and say, "I'm allowing you to be you." No, it's more of like an internal awareness of, okay, the world is changing. People are going through their shit. They're all kind of evolving at their own levels on their own journey and their own growth. So, can I just let them be without trying to put my 2 cents into their life? Can I just let them be? Can they let me be me? And can I let them be them? Why don't you be you and I'll be me? It's from a song. Um, so grant people being. And what you'll also notice as you're granting people being is that you're going to literally start growing up and you're going to start growing out, whether it's of relationships, of old jobs, of old habits, of things that you held on to that you thought, this really defines me. It's not going to anymore because you're stepping it up. You're going to a whole new level. And that's what it takes to just let that go, let people be, and you focus on the most important person, which is you. Because when you're doing well and you're feeling into this energy and supporting yourself and releasing what you don't need and being present with your emotions, you get to be you and give people the space to be them. And then ultimately, it's this whole new level of expansion where you can hold energy and space for anyone and everyone, and people can show up and they don't piss you off and they don't trigger you because you're content being you. Okay. So that is the energy, big picture of December. How do you manage this? Right? If it's a lot of heart healing, what do you do? So a couple of things I'll show you is that you can incorporate crystals into your life. So rose quartz, for example, right? The stone, rose quartz, is all about healing the heart, all about opening the heart, all about just surrendering. This one that I'm wearing is moonstone. So it's more about the feminine energy, nurturing, stepping into your divine feminine, which could also really serve you. And another thing is if you're on Zoom calls all day and you're at home, and maybe even if you want to meditate and kind of purge a lot of this energy, you can have something like this. This is a rose quartz healing ball. Again, you can get it on Amazon, I think, or you could go to like your local crystal shop, spiritual store. But this is really powerful because I'm on a lot of calls all day, and as I'm talking to people, they're also releasing their stuff, they're sharing, and a lot of my work definitely deals with helping people process and manage their emotions. So, as someone who is also very sensitive and an empath, I can also just kind of like hold this and hold love for myself and allow this energy to purge. And then also wear crystals, and it doesn't have to look all crazy, but it could look beautiful and simple. So, that's a thing that you can do to really like hone into the energy is, after you watch this video, if it feels aligned, go to a shop, go pick up a crystal for yourself that feels really authentic to your energy. Another thing that you can do is start to incorporate cacao into your life. So that's CACAO, cacao, not cocoa. Cacao is the actual authentic chocolate from the raw bean. Cocoa is more processed. So you want cacao with the CA. And that's important because I've been doing this for years. I've been making a cacao drink, and I can definitely, if you're interested, I can share that recipe with you. It's changed my life. It has like turmeric, ashwagandha, cacao, lion's mane, all these nurturing things. And I call it my heart opening elixir. So I'll have it every morning. I'll give it to my husband as well. And through the times when we feel like overly like charged, like there's a lot of energy to process, I'll have like 2, 3 cups of this a day. And it is very, very grounding, very powerful way to help you navigate. And during Christmas, you can make it for your entire family. So everyone can feel supported and heart opened. And during the holidays. So it's like people can just feel the love and know that they're held and supported and warm and fuzzy. So that is different things that you can do. I'm going to be doing another session in a couple weeks where I'm going to talk about purging and cleansing and having gratitude for 2023. So we'll talk about that later. It was on my list today, but something I want you to start thinking about as we go into that the next couple weeks is like, what did you learn this year? What are you grateful for? What are you feeling appreciative about? Right. So think about that on the next session, a live session. We'll do a journaling session and prompts, and we'll go deeper. But I want to end today with something really special for you guys. So I have this goddess power deck that I've been using for years. And I just want to tune into the energy of December using this goddess oracle card. I haven't picked a card yet, but I thought I would do it live on the call. So just if you're listening, if you're sitting there listening in your car, whatever it is, just be safe. Don't close your eyes if you're driving. But if you can, take a moment, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and just exhale. Allow yourself to feel and integrate all of this energy, all of these messages, this frequency that I've just shared with you. Tune into what resonates and let go of the rest, and allow yourself to just receive what lands. And now, with that, think about the energy of December. Think about what you're focusing on. Think about what you're letting go of. Just feel. We're going to pick a card here that represents the energy of the goddess for the collective month of December. So let's see. Whew, one popped out. Wow. Chills. Okay. Mutt. Truth. Is that not what we've been talking about? Truth. Wow. And look at her. She's literally like heart center. Her hands are on her heart like that. Yes, queen. Like, look at that. Wow. And it's card number 30. And 3 represents communication, healing, transparency, truth, right? And being a conscious communicator. So let's look. Let's see what the message is. I'm going to read it for you guys. Whew. There is great power in telling the truth and allowing it to lead you to higher ground. It's only when we refuse to see the reality of a situation that we lose our power to co-create for the highest good. The Egyptian goddess Mat comes to remind you that if you are willing to do a fearless self inventory and live authentically with rigorous honesty, it will lead you to great success in all areas of your life. Being completely transparent with others, although it might at first feel too vulnerable, is exactly what you need to do now. When you do this, you will be flooded with the power to claim and experience a new freedom and a new happiness that will pour over your life like a wild, sweet honey. Your life is exactly where it needs to be. This is a wonderful time of empowered choice making. You are doing all the right things if you follow the invitation of Mat to live fiercely in truth. As the arbiter of balance and divine order, she reminds you of the great value of this way of being. And then there's also an alignment message that, you know what, maybe this is, you're like, okay, that resonates, but maybe I need a little bit more depth. So this is what she says. The law of karma states that everything comes into balance sooner or later. Also, 2024 is the year of karma, the year of balance. So very interesting. So the law of karma states that everything comes into balance sooner or later. So trust that in the greater story of your life, all wrongs will get righted. The goddess Mat appears with her scales of justice and feather of truth to remind you that you're seeing only one moment in time. The balance of events tips both ways until it comes into coherence with the harmony of the universe. Regardless of this natural rebalancing, it's time to speak up if you see injustice in your world. Mat says in order for you to be truly free, everyone must be free. She offers you the alignment task of considering where you may have hurt someone else and how your unconscious projection of how the world should be may have set you up for a transgression, even if you were innocent. This is a time of great unraveling, and nothing meaningful will be accomplished without some effort. Another message for you now is to see behind the words of others, especially when you feel they may be withholding truth or acting without awareness. It's important not to enable this. Tell the truth with that much love as you can, even though denial may be swept away in an awkward moment and everyone feels exposed. It's an important way to move forward with compassion. The goddess Mat to remind you that she is a champion for those willing to course correct and gives you her full support. So there you go. A month of truth, trust, realignment, surrender, and giving people the space and granting them being without needing to be right, but just allowing people the space to be. So I love you. I honor you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. And if this added value or if you have any questions, I'd love to hear your comments below. And yeah, I'm excited for the next one where we dive deeper into the gratitudes of this year and looking at our vision and all that fun stuff. All right, beautiful. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll connect soon. Bye.